I will say, I'm looking at our awards, and I'm very upset about the fact that I have approximately 2 winners. Everything else you guys got. Everyone else picked winners. I only have 2, and they were the most basic choice.
You mean they were the ones that you got to first?
Yeah, exactly. We were all mad lads scrambling for Roman Reigns, and I was just happened to be the one who put my hand on the ball first.
No, I think you actually got the most last year, so you're good. You were due this.
Okay. Welcome to Fight Boys, a show about professional and not so professional wrestling. I am your MC for this evening of awards and celebration, Scottye Moore.
I am your John Moxley of this celebration, drunk. No, I'm Blake Tanner.
I'm the Todd Pettigrew of this award ceremony, the Dylan.
So it's our second annual Golden Boys Awards, which I forgot we called it. We've been calling them the Fight Awards, but apparently we called them the Golden Boys last year. But
I think the Fight Awards are already actually a thing, so it's a good thing we...
Okay. Now, I do also have all of our last year, so we can actually catch up and see, did these age well, a la our Wrestler of the Year for last year. But before we do that, I want to get into a first time ever category, which is the first years. Who had the best first year in a wrestling company this year? It can be a rookie, or it can be somebody who debuted a la in NXT or AEW. Just who had the best first year? And Blake, would you like to begin with our third place nominee?
Indeed. This nominee is FTR for joining AEW this year and leaving the yoke of the bourgeoisie WWE, making their own way and fucking that right. That's not their thing. FTR, though, I think that them leaving WWE and eventually joining AEW was the absolute right move for them. And since they joined, they've been on such a high position in the roster, and they've gotten so much good shit that you obviously, just from the very start, got to see how underutilized they were.
Yeah. I mean, like, they've done phenomenal this year. I mean, like, a few of their matches are a little formulaic. Like, you can point to an FTR match and say, that's an FTR match. And I guess it's good that they have a style, but also
they do have a style. Like, they're old school wrestlers, so I think that goes part and parcel with the gimmick.
Yeah. But yeah, FTR is a good pick, but not as good as our second place. A man who worked for 15 years on the indies, and most he ever got was a shot on Impact Wrestling, and finally came through this year. And of course, as we've learned, if you want to become an instant babyface, you talk shit to Cody Rhodes, and that's exactly what he did. Then had an amazing feud with Jon Moxley. Also cut a promo on, what was it, a donut? Or was it gummy worms? It was a cookie, that's right.
And also Sour Patch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, we did that too.
But yeah, Eddie Kingston was my pick for my first year, because like Eddie's a guy who I always see, but I didn't pay attention to until this year. Because like I saw him in Chikara, I got to see him defend their grand championship and shit like that, and I always knew he was good, but I never realized how great he was until AEW, until he just kind of had a lot of brisket to sink the teeth into. And yeah, Eddie's fucking ruled this year.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler, but he is bar none one of, if not the best current promos out there right now.
Oh, without a fucking doubt, because everything he says sounds so fucking real. And he does not have to, like, the promo doesn't need to, he rarely does do a basic, hey, I'ma fight you and it's gonna hurt. It's always just like, I grew up in the streets of New York. And then he just goes on a tangent about going to buy a grilled cheese or some shit, but the whole time you're enthralled.
Having to fight, like, gutter bears for scraps.
Gutter bears versus gutter bears. But yeah, Eddie Kingston's my first year. I honestly changed this from Rookie of the Year to first year just because I wanted Eddie to get something tonight.
Yeah, I picked mine based off the previous category. The winner of this category, the star of the show, number 99 of the Dark Order, Anna Jay, because she started at the end of last year with her 7th match being against Sheeta. So, like, I think by the time this year started, she had 10 professional wrestling matches. And over the course of this year, she's now become, like, one of the top, maybe not like one of the top female wrestlers, but one of the ones where you're looking, you're like, yeah, she's probably going to be champion in the next, what do you think, like, year? Maybe less. She had the match against Sheeta, like, a few weeks ago for the title, and she had me believe, oh, fuck, maybe they are going to do this. Holy shit. They're going to set the youngest champion for the women's division real soon. But yeah, no, everything she does now, she does such... the moment where she became my like breakout like first year person was whenever Brodie won the championship and they were beating everyone down, and then she just walks very briskly across the stage and just chokes Brandy Rhodes the fuck out. Yeah. And there was no build up for that, apropos of nothing. Just, no, fuck this woman. Fuck this. Got herself a new gimmick out of it. Queen Slayer now, doing great work on Dark, beating the shit out of Stu Grayson. The only person Stu Grayson fears is some 5'6" blonde chick from Georgia. It's amazing. Everything about her gimmick now too, and her character works good too, because she on and off has had the stuff where she's trying to, like, you know, recruit Tay Conti into it, and, like, I'm excited to see where that goes. Like, I'm excited. It's the fact that, like, she has such little experience in the business, but, like, she's listening to people or something. Like Eddie Kingston, I'm not surprised Eddie Kingston is breaking out. FTR, I'm not surprised FTR is doing good. They've been doing this for years. This chick is, like, less than 24 matches.
Yeah, but she got tossed into the lake and she swam the first time is the thing.
Yeah, so that is what, based on what this category is, like, she is for me now the barometer for how I measure somebody like breaking out and, like, doing their first year. It's
honestly akin to Ronda. Imagine if Ronda had no build-up going into WWE and they were just like, yeah, here's this random person who's never wrestled a match before. Here you go. And then they blow everyone's expectations out of the water. That's Anna Jay. But it's natural and not weirdly put together because Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, she had a lot. And Anna Jay has so much natural talent that she was able to pick it up as quickly as she did, but she worked hard to do it as well. And I think that, like, her breakout is just amazing, because I don't think I've seen a rookie like that just like be as amazing as they are first year, you know, with less than 50 matches under their belt. Like, wow.
I mean, granted, training for a while, but still, like, this is on television. Granted, it wasn't in front of, like, thousands of people. I'm sure empty arenas are a better way to, like, slowly gain your stuff up. Still impressive.
I have just realized that the way I've ordered these, it is going to be Blake, me, Dylan for the first three, because we're now moving on to our storyline of the year. which last year was, I believe we called it promotional tactic, like the best thing people use to bring people into wrestling. And the winner last year was Jon Moxley just making the greatest music video of all time and releasing it on Twitter at midnight. But this year, who's our third place winner, Blake?
All right, our third place winner this year is the Roman Reigns joins Paul Heyman storyline. Because,
now, if I may, I'm gonna need you to pump the brakes slightly.
Okay, stop. Okay, fine. Paul Heyman joins Roman Reigns.
Okay, there we go.
But no, to literally just almost everybody's surprise, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman teamed up to make the new destructive manager-wrestler relationship. And I love it because it is taking the things that you saw in the Brock Lesnar-Paul Heyman relationship and making it somehow scarier. Because ever since Roman joined Heyman, Heyman woke something dark up in Roman Reigns. And that's been the storyline so far. And the fact is, Heyman has already lost control of the new monster he created. And I cannot wait to see that develop, because it's already developed to the point where he murders people. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but his match against Kevin Owens TLC this year was match of the night easily.
Well, hold on. That's not a hard bar to clear there for TLC. I will say,
it's not, but it was also a good match.
I wouldn't mind extending this through to the Jay Roman storyline, because that was the most genuinely emotional storytelling in wrestling this year.
Yes, I think basically I want to count this as the whole time from when they joined forces to now, basically, because that has been the resurgence of Roman Reigns in a way that I not only palate, but enjoy.
And then we go from what was easily one of the most serious, emotional, high-stakes storylines of the year to just the dumbest fucking thing that I could not resist watching every single week, because my storyline of the year was MJF desperately trying to join the Inner Circle, because I remember they had their first segment together, and I came on the show and I said, that's the best wrestling segment of the year. What happened the next week? They fucking sang a show tune, and the New York Times wrote about it. And I said, that's segment of the year. And then they go to fucking Vegas and Hornswoggle's in a diaper. That was fucking segment of the year.
They smoked out a limo.
With Conan. It was great moment after great moment after great moment. And then even the match, like, it was hard to stand out on that card, but it was still a good match for what it was. But it was just getting to watch Chris Jericho take a baby Chris Jericho under his wing and then slowly realize, oh no, he's better than me. And I know it. Because as good as Jericho was in that rivalry, that was Maxwell Jacob Friedman's coming out party. That was MJF saying, like, no, I'm not just a douchey heel. I am entertaining as fuck. You just have to let me do it.
That was definitely him saying, like, me and Jericho, if we work together, we'll come up with the most entertaining segments of the year. But I'm going to be the most entertaining one in the most entertaining segment this year.
And then, in addition, we got Sammy feuding with MJF, and also the world's longest staring contest between Jake Hager and Wardlow.
There was also MJF's acceptance speech. I don't know what I've never even heard of Drake. I wrote this myself.
Or when they had the will the Inner Circle break up moment. Ortiz, man, you're my essay. Come on, Ortiz. It's like, Jesus, MJF. But yeah, I think surprising no one. That is my storyline of the year. Dylan, bring it home.
Yeah. Perhaps some of the greatest continual storyline, like storytelling, is it started last year, but there was no weekly show to help bolster it like there is this entire year. As we have seen the slow spiral, I don't even know if it's a spiral anymore. It's like a weird roller coaster that's mostly on the low end, but it keeps going up as Hangman Adam Page continues his odyssey to parts unknown. Starting off really early in the year, like surprise winning the tag titles with Kenny, then feuding with the Bucks because the Bucks Hulk Hogan'd him, shitting all over his moment, going to Revolution, having the greatest tag match of all time, while constantly butting heads with Kenny, going to be like, yeah, they're the best tag team. Like, we're just two singles wrestlers. Like, all of that, never feeling like he's good enough. The whole thing where he gets kicked out of the Elite because he is insecure, starts drinking, loses the tag titles, drinks some more, meets with Kenny in the finals of that #1 contenders tourney, fucking kills it, but loses. Then the Bucks win, can't join in the celebration. Now he's at the Dark Order Christmas party. Like, the whole thing is just like this amazing.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see it, I'm just like, this is so. It rides this wonderful line of great emotional storytelling and like almost like actual like English lit worthy storytelling. Rides it all with this absurdity.
It's you have
this
picked
guy drinking whiskey all the time, breaking into the bar at a Jacksonville stadium, fighting there.
Like, you picked the perfect in-between between Blake's and mine. It was serious emotion, but then also just goofy, entertaining shit. Also, the other day, someone tweeted one of those, describe your 2020, but with only pictures on your phone. And all I put was, Hangman Adam Page has been drinking. The greatest photo in AEW history.
That
is wearing tights now, I guess.
The emotional roller coaster of this and the fact that it can flip between the two, like, very serious and very absurd, is something that is almost never done well in professional wrestling, and they've just hit that sweet spot.
I mean, I've said it before on the show, and I will say it again. MJF and Jericho have had bad segments this year. Jericho had a bad fucking feud this year. Hangman Adam Page has not had a thing I did not enjoy. Throughout this entire year, Hangman has not put on, because everyone else has. Cody, well, that's a given. Kenny, the Bucks, everyone's done something where I said, I don't know about this. He's never not delivered. It's insane.
There have been things he's done that I haven't liked because they made me sad. Yeah. But there's never been a thing where it was done poorly.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a real sad, like the sad that you get when you watch your favorite character die.
Yeah. Except it was worse because he wasn't dead. You knew this was going to keep going for another year until the redemption arc.
Well, now move.
We're halfway there at best.
God, fuck. Well, now let's move on to the theme song of the year, which, of course, last year could not have been Kingdom by Downstate, which I did listen to earlier today, and I will say, still fucking slaps. Even with how much we overplayed it, that song still fucking slaps. But now
as long as it's not done live.
Yeah. Fuck.
God. That might be what ruined it. That might be what ruined Kingdom.
But by the way, for this category, because I didn't put it, but Judas being sung by a live chorus.
Oh yeah.
Almost. That's not really a theme song. That's a performance. But
I'm shocked none of us picked Judas, because Judas had a banner year this year. But let's get into.
It wasn't new though. It had already been there.
Well, mine's not technically that new. Mine's been around for about a year. Mine's 2019 light, but I just listened to, like, it showed up in my top 5 on most listens on Spotify. So that's why. But before I get into mine, Blake Tanner, what is it?
This one is third place is Brodie Lee's music in AEW. He is Exalted. There is something special about his entrance theme that I think really hits the place in professional wrestling where you want a theme to hit, where you're like, this is a real anime intro. Because it gives me the same vibes as hearing Sephiroth's theme from Final Fantasy, which is, of course, One Winged Angel. But the genuinely, like, scary kind of horror vibes music at the very intro, and then interspersed with hearing just people chanting in a chorus in the background, he is the exalted one, really just kind of hit it for me. And there is something great to coming out to the ring with a kind of banger like that.
Damn it. You saying that made me realize that I do have a favorite theme song specifically from 2020. And it is, he's the best. He's the best. He's the best man. Miro's new theme does fucking slap. But no, instead, mine is a song that was so good, because we saw a bunch of great theme songs die this year. Seth Rollins famously lost his song at WrestleMania to fit his new aesthetic, and also the fact that they don't like CFO anymore. But the greatest tragedy is the fact that we can no longer...
For he is limitless.
Holy shit, that's such a good song.
It's not new, but it rose to prominence more because he became like a main eventer this year.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such a good song. And it is, I mean, in addition to Judas, it's another one of those classic wrestlers sings their own theme song music. And holy shit, it works so well. It's such a good song. It's fun, but also has a serious beat behind it. It is like Keith Lee, because it's fun and it's bouncy, but also it does look like it would beat you up behind the bar if you've disrespected a woman. Like, it is a great fucking song, and I can't get over the fact that because, like, they finally have given him something more Limitless adjacent, but it's not, it ain't it. It ain't it,
Limitless. Chief. That's the one thing. Like, we've got to, in this case especially, honor the great songs that we'll never hear again. In this case, Keith Lee's this is not the greatest song of the year. This is just a tribute.
Perhaps the best. Pour one out for CFO.
More. Oh, well, no, Biggie just got a new theme song, so that doesn't count.
But no, yeah, like the loss of all those CFO songs especially, it has been a sucky year for good intro themes because several good intro themes died.
They haven't taken Oscars yet. That's the only one where I think I might riot.
Yeah. I would care more about Nakamura's if I cared about Nakamura anymore. I cannot tell you how much that hurts my soul to say.
Nothing's ever going to beat his New Japan one for me. That's why...
It's good and singable. I think that's what I like about it. But Dylan, shocking, absolutely. Yeah,
8 out of 10.
Dylan, shocking, absolutely nobody. Who's theme song of the year?
I want it to be known that I called this his theme song of the year on his second, I think, appearance. I think it was his first appearance on Dark. Because the revolution is televised. You want to know how to make a banger brass section? You bring a whole lot of brass to this motherfucker. That shit showed up, and I listened to it on repeat a couple times. I was just like, nah, I can't get enough. This is beautiful. It helps that Ricky leans into it so hard.
Oh yeah, dude.
During his entrance. Some people just kind of walk out to their entrance. Ricky Stark walks with his entrance.
That's like CD.
There is something so.
CD used to be really good about that. Christopher Daniels embodied his theme music.
Yeah. So yeah, no. There's no song I can think of that got of this year. Much like my pick for last year, The Best Friends. The Best Friends theme song fits them like a glove because of how weird it is.
Yeah.
And Ricky Starks just sounds so sleek, yet, Southern. And just you can see Ricky Starks with his fucking chain and just being Ricky Starks. You're like, yeah, no, that's that guy. Yeah, absolutely. Don't know. You see him and you're just like, of course.
Of course. I mean, no, really, that is a good point, especially the fact that you integrated how the superstar interacts with their songs. Like a wrestler interacts with their entrance music, and that's what makes the best ones.
Well, this wasn't a category, but I would like to quickly give worst use of music in a wrestling environment this year. Arguably, Cody coming out to the worst version of Downstate is high up there, but I think the worst one has to be, "This is the greatest show!"
Fuck, I forgot that was this year. It's been so... We were hanging out when we watched that, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. All right. Well, it's now time to get a little diabolical, because it's time to talk about the heel of the year, which last year I did not remember this. It was Ring of Honor. But then I remembered everything Ring of Honor did in 2019. So I'm like, okay.
We were all placing money on Ring of Honor dying this year. And then they hired Marty Scurll, and we're like, oh, and then everything about Marty Scurll happened. We're like, oh, they might die again, and then they're somehow still here.
Yeah.
They're like Impact Light.
It's Danhausen. Danhausen saved them.
If I've learned anything, if a company can hold on by the skin of its teeth, that's what I learned from Impact for God knows how long.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna start because mine's third, which shocked the fuck out of me. But my heel of the year is WWE Monday Night Raw, the show that made me hate professional wrestling.
It was because it was too vague. It's 3 hours. Ring of Honor, we had very specific points. Raw, you had limitless. Keith Lee, just limitless reasons. That's not... It was too vague.
Which is why I didn't pick WWE.
Yeah.
It's like Retribution. Raw Underground. Them being the worst matches on every pay-per-view.
I mean, you
gestures
you got it, yeah.
That, all of that, and then of course recently I for December I took a month off because, as Dylan very succinctly put it, I'm burnt out on reviewing wrestling because of Raw, because AEW's had some bad shows. I've never been so physically upset that I couldn't work on anything for the rest of the night. But with Raw, I have multiple times been like, yeah, we can't record tonight. I can't do anything. I'm fucking furious.
It literally happened last night at TLC. After TLC was over, we were so fucking just livid by how shitty that show was.
And if I may, who put on the good matches, which were arguably Sasha, Carmella, and Kevin versus Roman? Oh, that's SmackDown. And then Raw fucking shit all over the rest of the card.
The triple threat ladder match looked alright.
No, it was a basic TLC match, and then almost baby carried Miz over, and instead of a throw, he just kind of went bleh, and let Miz fall. Oh, but now let's move on.
Honestly, that was almost better.
Yeah, you weren't there for that because you're a lucky human being. Blakey T, who's your heel of the year, buddy?
Oh, my heel of the year is an actual character heel. So, heel for reasons that I like. No, wait, never mind. He's both. Fuck. Oops.
He really is! He is!
Yeah, he's both. And that is why my heel of the year is Chris Jericho. Because not only have I enjoyed and respected all the shit that he's done, we've mentioned his feud with MJF, his feud with Orange Cassidy, which was a little bit of both. And just his general personality since joining AEW, he's just continued it to greater heights this year. I feel like if there's anything I'm forgetting, just jump in. But also, Chris Jericho,
the super spreader,
Chris Jericho, the super spreader, also exists. Chris Jericho, the I'm just asking questions conspiracy theorist, which is the worst kind of conspiracy theorist, exists. The man
Chris Jericho, the man who both donated to the Trump campaign and had a separate individual, also named Chris Jericho, donate to the same campaign.
Chris Jericho, why do you have to suck right now as a real person? Because I love to be mad at you in wrestling, but I don't love it when you're spreading a deadly virus and voting for somebody who is actively, not giving a shit about spreading the virus and is the worst president I've had in my lifetime. Sorry, boomer.
Sorry,
I don't know if Chris
Bush.
Jericho's Gen X or boomer, but fuck it. No, that's why Chris Jericho is my heel. So he is kind of a meshing of the two worlds, where Scotty's was because he just fucking sucked, and mine was a little of that, and he's a great wrestling persona heel. But Dylan, our winner tonight is full on.
Oh, yeah. Never before has there been such a combination of word choice, body language, acting, and an incredibly punchable face as Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Yeah, baby!
Between the presidential-esque State of the Union addresses before his AEW title match, to everything he did in the Jericho Inner Circle feud.
Yeah.
Even his stuff earlier, way early in the year when he was doing things before the whole spreader.
The Cody feud. The Cody feud was this year.
Yeah, the Cody feud. Exactly. Beautiful. Perfect. Everything.
And honestly,
about,
I forgot about the Moxley feud, but yeah, if it wasn't for the great shit from the Jericho feud, the MJF Moxley feud would have been my rivalry of the year. It would have been up there too.
Exactly, yeah. Him fucking about to win the ring for a second time. Everything he does, where you're just man, fuck that guy. And then we're smart marks. We're just oh, they did a good job, but fuck that guy.
Yeah.
The only thing I can compare it to is Jay White in New Japan, where you look at him and you're just
who was
such
your
a
heel
good
of the year last year. He was your pick for heel last year too.
I would have voted for him again. Because I didn't, but I wanted to. That's the only thing where I've never seen someone lean so into just being hateable in such a believable way. They buy into knowing that they can be hated. Everybody else, it's Chris Jericho is just yeah, I'm a heel, but everybody wants to be a cool heel.
Yeah.
MJF doesn't want to be a cool heel. MJF will. If you're a fan of MJF, he will actually tell you to suck a dick to your face.
He'll flip your kids off.
His dick's too good to you. He'll tell you to go suck your dad's dick.
He'll punch your kids.
They'll probably tell you, oh wait, you can't, you have an absentee father. That's the kind of stuff that MJF does. And you have to respect how much effort he's putting into it. He's living the gimmick. He's going for it on a level unseen to just be as big a heel as possible.
So
while I desperately want to see him get decked,
Well,
like
it's
full on. Like the Moxley thing wasn't good enough. I wanted to see him get choked out, and he didn't. There was that bullshit finish. I really wanted to see MJF pass out. But no. But it's coming. It's coming.
Long-term booking, man. Long-term booking.
I'm excited.
Anyway, that's the end of me winning things.
I'm sad. I'm waiting for the eventual Sammy Guevara babyface turn. Because I realized that the other day, like, holy shit, Sammy would make a great babyface. But it's interesting we brought up Jericho.
He already has the support behind him because of the vlog.
Yeah. Well, now we move on to something that one of our heels won last year, who was Chris Jericho, who was our Entertainer of the Year in 2019, and he pretty much kind of kept it going. Like this year, I think the Orange Cassidy feud slowed him down quite a bit, but outside of that, yeah, he killed it. But right now, let's get into the number 3 Oh, look, Dylan's third on this one. Good.
It's because you bunch of plebeians don't recognize the genius that is John Silver.
Johnny Hungy.
John Silver, who single-handedly turned the entire trajectory of his career around by being a weird little muscular motherfucker on Being the Elite. So entertaining that Tony Khan came up to him, like half-ribbed, half-scolded him for not showing that much personality on Dynamite. And now that he has, everybody is excited to see John Silver wrestle a match. Because he's a good wrestler. He's like arguably like, you know, borderline great wrestler. Him and Alex together is fantastic tag team. But he's just so entertaining to watch because he's fucking crazy. He's fucking insane.
He got Matt Hardy
the BTE
booed.
champion stuff.
Yeah.
Like he is on another level. And the fact that you guys don't recognize that proves your lack of taste.
I recognize it so much. I love him for it.
Yeah, I listened to him and Alex on AEW Unrestricted, and I was like, fucking John saving this whole... Because Alex is very soft-spoken. He's just like, yeah, and then we got hired. It was really interesting working for WWE and catering, and then John would just pimp it and be like, y'all ever watch Tim and Eric? It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, fuck.
There's got to be a straight man to it.
Yep. But now it's time to move on to my Entertainer of the Year, which realized I placed this in a wrong spot because what else can we say about Maxwell Jacob Friedman? The man who went from telling Cody to fuck off, which we've learned will get you over, to having the greatest... That's
the only time it didn't.
Yeah, to having the greatest segment of the year with Chris Jericho, to being the only person who AEW has said, hey, why don't you call out Jon Moxley for being a former WWE guy? And he said, okay, let's do this. And just epic, like, pipe bomb-esque promos, comedy promos. Whatever MJF had to do, he would go out there and do it. And it would always be, like, I think a lot of the detractors of MJF in the past have been like, okay, but he's just doing the most generic heel shit. And then this year was the year he said, okay, I'm going to get more creative and entertaining with ways to be a heel. Like, even his match quality, which used to be admittedly slow-paced, because that's a good heel tactic, is to wrestle a slow match so everyone gets mad at you because they just want to see the big super kicks and punches. He's even adjusted that for that to be more entertaining. He's adopting like Eddie Guerrero tactics, and he's playing more of a goofy character, and fuck, he's so good. I think he and, let me see, I think it's him and Hangman are tied for the most nominations that we have.
That is probably true. They both probably had some of the best years, like the best overall kind of like success this year. But in terms of Entertainer, which is very interesting that he won. I'm surprised because I loved him, but he was both of your second choices. But it is Brodie Lee, the exalted one of the Dark Order. And I think that it is well deserved, because as he was not anywhere near the top of the list for the exalted one of the Dark Order. He kind of disappeared after for a while during his non-compete clause after WWE.
Yeah.
But then he came into AEW. And
Did you just fucking sneeze in front of me?
He came into AEW and he ate a steak funny. And god damn it, that was the moment when I knew the sneezing comments. And from then, he pivoted directly into the insane, wonderful leader of the Dark Order. I will never, the fucking, like, he created one of the best wrestling memes of the year with just hitting people with stacks of paper.
Pick that up. Hit yourself with it.
And if I may,
sell for stew. You better sell for stew.
He also continues our theory because what was his biggest match this year? Oh, that's right. Fucking killing Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. Yes, he did. He killed Cody Rhodes. God, he
killed
also...
Cody Rhodes, tried to kill John Moxley. It's a winning combination.
I want to take this moment to point out, like, how livid he was on, I think it was an episode of Being the Elite earlier this year, when they almost could have had Hangman be part of the Dark Order, and then he didn't. And he said, we could have had cowboy shit. Do you like cowboy shit?
Do you like horses? Do you like whiskey? Do you like cowboy shit? Of course you like cowboy shit.
Oh, fuck.
That was where the paper thing came from, because he just threw it at Alex and Reynolds. Or no, he threw it at Uno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the Dark Order without, like, Brodie's leadership on a day-to-day basis, but I miss him because of how, like, the dynamics change, and it's just all the kids running around in the house when Dad's not home. I want Dad to be home sometimes, because Dad's fun as hell. But I fucking love it, and I hope that Brodie Lee comes back into a Dark Order with cowboy shit.
And not only that, like, even going beyond the realm of performance entertainment, he's done 2 separate unrestricteds, and both of them have been fucking killer. Because he's so intelligent. He's so well-spoken, and he's so enthralling to hear speak about anything, where he's just sitting there like, yeah, I've got my DMs open. I don't get dick pics or anything. You guys need to ask Silver about that, though.
And that was when the dick pics started.
Yeah. But like I said, MJF was one of those guys who had a rough year but got better. He was one of the most improved this year, but he did not make it on our list of most improved, who last year, John Moxley won most improved, which, yes, if you can only go up after getting a needle shoved in your ass on television. But before that, Blake, would you like to give us your most improved wrestler of 2020?
Yes, and that gentleman is Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
I mean, you got to think, just starting from the year, starting at the Rumble, McIntyre, like, his performance, amazing. Winning the title, fantastic. From somebody who was, like, before this year, until he got, like, he started his real big push, was kind of floundering again.
Then I will argue that it's not so much that McIntyre improved as they let him be Drew Galloway again.
I think improved in this case is also the improved
what we're
booking,
seeing,
because I think our winner also succeeded from improved booking as well. But like McIntyre, especially with his booking. But you're right, they let him be the character that made him successful, and that improved his entire WWE run so far, to the point where he has been consistently in the main event, a consistent title holder, and somebody that they come to look at with like a very with a high level of respect, it seems.
Yeah, the other end of that.
We're gonna get into Drew more later, don't you worry.
But Yeah, like you said, improving in terms of booking, but improving more in terms of like getting fan support behind it. This is war. Wardlow.
Yes.
Wardlow, who showed up, and everybody was just like, "Who is this? Who is this goofy-looking motherfucker that is with MJF?"
Wearing a Burberry tie.
Wearing a Burberry tie. By the way, wonderful, wonderful move. Also, it turns out he just owns a shitload of suits. He wasn't some like bodybuilder that he just owns a lot of suits.
That's good.
Talked about that on Unrestricted. He was just like, they were like, "How many suits do you own?" "A lot." But yeah, then being known as the guy that took the Cody Rhodes moonsault off the top of an unnecessarily tall cage, he has over time just better and better, like just gotten to show more and more of himself, from like his matches being good. The F10 is now, for me, gone from being a stupid gimmicky move to, oh no, that's actually genuinely impressive. After you see him do it the 10th time, you're just like, oh, was not a fluke. He is literally flinging people like frisbees. Or his, I'm gonna hang a guy off the top rope and then drop them directly on my knee, which I've never seen that before. It's the most brutal looking shit I've ever seen. It's like a different version of the go to sleep, except with way less guidance and more pain. It's like an old Kenta go to sleep, where you're just like, that guy's dead now.
It's like, you didn't even check. You actually domed him.
Yeah, but yeah, it's one of those things where, much like I said, you see Anna Jay and you're just like, that's a future change. Like Wardlow just has like baby face, like just big man written all over him. Like he's like the antithesis of Brian Cage, where it's just like, watch this strong guy be a heel. Like you're gonna watch Wardlow like just muscle tits his way through everything. So yeah, he is my most improved, because like I said, it's not even that. I think he's always had the skill level, but he's gotten to like show more and more of it. And like now when you see Wardlow on screen, you're like, oh hey, you get excited, like you're happy about it. Where before you were indifferent, now you're just like, oh, maybe this is going to be whenever he does something like ridiculous. And normally, yes.
Yeah, you want it to be like when Wardlow breaks out of that, like, when he stops being the guy that stands there in the nice suit, because that's going to be fucking awesome.
You guys remember Family Feud, and how like every once in a while the second person would come in for the final round and they'd be like, answer. They already said that. Ah, fuck, okay. And then they'd go to the next question, they'd answer, and then they'd say, no, someone's already said that. Ah, fuck. That was me talking to both of you about this category. Because all three of us were like, no, it's fucking Roman, right? It's definitely Roman Reigns. So
he went from us actively rooting against him to us being like, amazing.
Yeah, he is
100%.
So 2020's
he lost the vest. That was step one.
The most improved thing in 2020, Roman Reigns' teeth. He's right there, baby. He's got them Ross Gellers in. He's rocking the Gellers. Uh-huh. No, it's almost akin to, I remember when CM Punk cut the pipe bomb, and I liked Punk beforehand, but he looks and he goes, I'm the best wrestler in the world. And he said it with such conviction that you just went, no, he's right. Yeah, he's right. I've got no evidence to back it up, but he's fucking right. That's me with Roman currently. Because all the shit Roman says instantly, almost, it just becomes canon. He's just like, no one can touch me. I am an untouchable god. I am the head of the table. And I'm like, nah, he's right, though. He's fucking right. And like, every match he has, I'm just, it sounds weird to say, I'm in awe of Roman Reigns during these matches, because I'm like, well, I know where Kevin is, and I know where literally everyone else is. Like, he exudes what Brock Lesnar should have exuded. Whereas Brock, when you came out, you knew because of booking, Brock Lesnar's not gonna lose. But with Roman, you're like, no, Roman's not going to lose because he's Roman Reigns. Like, it's never a question of like, oh, booking's making Roman do this. I'm like, no, it's because booking can't make Roman lose this. It's like when Shayna Baszler had the women's title in NXT. It's just a matter of untouchable. No one could come near them. Like, it's going to take a Rhea Ripley-esque moment for me to go, oh, okay, so that's where we're going with Roman, because he just has upped his game so much, and he carries such an air of confidence that he never had before, that every match now feels so special. Like, it feels very... I mean, it's the same shit you would get from The Rock and Stone Cold. Like, he has that coming when he comes out to the ring.
I would argue that it is like Brock Lesnar, but it's like undisputed title Brock Lesnar. Like, where you saw him, you were just like, I was like, oh, that Brock Lesnar, it's like a different version, because that Brock Lesnar was a walking natural disaster. And like this Roman Reigns, you see it and you're just like, the storm is coming. I see the storm is, because the storm is crazy and like clearly a sociopath.
Yes, and the storm is coming right for me. Yes, I am going to die.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, his story with Jay was easily one of the most emotional things of this year, because Roman believes what he's saying. When Roman walks up and he says, "You're my family, I don't want to have to do this," it's not him as a heel being like, "No, I don't want to fight you, whatever." It's him literally being, "You're my fucking oos." Which sounds weird for a Caucasian white male to say, but he's like, "You're my brother. I don't want to fucking hurt you, but I will." It's so good because it's taking the Ricky Steamboat-esque babyface of, "I love my family and I will do anything to fight for my family." It's taking that and saying, how do we make that one of the most despised heels of all time? And they have done it with Roman.
In terms of alignment, he is an embodiment of chaos, or of lawful evil. Even though he can bring chaos, he follows his law to the T. And if you do not follow it, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are to him. He will destroy you.
Yeah.
I love him.
Like, that was my favorite thing about the Kevin match, was the fact that when he was against Jay, I was like, okay, he knows Jay. He respects Jay. He ain't gonna pull it all out. Oh, he's fighting Kevin now? Oh, Kevin's gonna die. Kevin Owens is gonna die.
It's like, fuck, man. The fact that he went in a year from, like, the person that I did not want to see, but that I was happy was okay, to the person that's like, I'm gonna take some time off because I don't want to get sick, to the person who says, I'm back, who's first? They're dead.
Yeah.
Oh, it's literally my cousin who I've known since we were children. Fucking kill him.
Oh, and best storyline to bring him in on. Best storyline to bring him in on as new champion. Like, that solidified him. If it was anybody else, like if they had done The Fiend, it wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked. Like, you needed Jay for this. But we've talked enough about Roman. We've talked enough about good shit. Let's talk about some real bad shit. The worst storyline of the fucking year, which last year went appropriately enough to Lana, Rusev, and Bobby Lashley's whole bullshittery, that surprisingly went so long that I thought that was a 2020 storyline. I really did. I was sitting there like, no, that
technically was.
Oh, wow. But yeah, Dylan, would you like to begin on this one?
So this is a storyline that I didn't realize.
This is how bad it is. Dylan slurred. This is a fucking storyline. It's some bullshit.
So this is a storyline that I didn't realize was bad until Blake pointed something out to me, and it's the Orange Cassidy versus Jericho feud. And it wasn't bad in terms of like the idea of it. It was the execution, because the execution required Orange Cassidy to have to fundamentally not be Orange Cassidy in order to win the feud. Like, from the get-go. In that entire last Mimosa match, that wasn't Orange Cat. That was just a guy with Orange Cassidy moves who was wearing sweatpants with pockets on it. That was it. There was none of the relaxedness. There was none of the turning it on. It was just full force. It wasn't Orange Cassidy.
There wasn't there wasn't anything clever about him, because that's the beauty. He's kind of like Loki, the god of mischief. He just comes in and fucks shit up by being smart, and he works smarter, not harder. And yet in this storyline, it was just go do all the punches.
Yeah, I think the problem with it was that it didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
It felt a little forced. Like something like the Cody match feels natural, where Orange Cassidy loses because his laziness catches up. And that's a storyline. That's a improvement. You had had something like that, where like his reason not to is like there comes a point in the match where he's just like, oh right, and then instead of being lazy, he just like clocks a guy. That'd be fine. But for this, it was Chris Jericho attacked me.
Yeah, or even the like MJF match he just had for the Dynamite Dozen ring. Like MJF walks in the ring and tries to do the Guerrero spot, like throw him the bat or whatever. And Cassidy just goes, I'm not fucking catching the bat. And he just puts it down on the ground, and MJF pops up like a cartoon character and says, no, you have to take the bat. You take the bat. And then he takes the bump, and the ref turns around. That's the shit Orange Cassidy is made for, or goofy, he is the Roadrunner. He is the Roadrunner outsmarting people. But yeah,
right,
no,
and he wasn't doing that in the OC Jericho feud, which is like Dylan said, that was my problem with it. Orange Cassidy not being Orange Cassidy for any period of an Orange Cassidy match or feud brings it down to a bad level.
Yeah, it was really, really rough. Blake, would you like to jump in with yours? Which I will say, I am going to argue against, because it did give us the greatest, worst match of all time.
You can argue all fucking day and all night about it, but I will never relent on the fact that the drunk Matt Hardy feud was
Nope, Jeff. It was
absolutely dog shit.
Jeff
Hardy, not Matt Hardy. Fuck me. I got my Hardys wrong. But no, Jeff.
You must have taken that Matt Hardy bump, and it just rattled you a bit.
Yeah, I took that bump, but I don't have a concussion. Damn it. But no, like having them. It was Sheamus that basically started all of this. Having Sheamus come out and basically browbeat Jeff for weeks on end about the fact that he is an addict and he is worthless for it is the weirdest. Like, I hate bringing that kind of personal shit into the wrestling ring, even though, like, I know that Jeff signed off on it, but it made me not feel good about it. And I mean, it just all hinges on the piss test. It all hinges on the piss segment.
It all hinges on the piss.
It's all on the piss. Because the moment that he's like, I want you to take a piss test.
Piss on me, Jeff.
Live.
Piss on me.
And I want you to piss on me.
The only good thing to come out of this is where Peaky Blinders Sheamus came from, and I'm down with that. But that was after this rivalry was over, and Jeff said, no, let's keep it going. Let's bring Elias in.
Yeah, then they rekindled it with Elias, and then they, like, kept it going. And
then
I don't
Elias electrocuted himself with wood.
It got him with a big-ass face.
Jeff lightly stacked violins on top of him.
Before he did a swanton bomb and smacked his back of his head against some steel steps.
And then played a tambourine to close us out.
God, that feud is horrible. Okay, let's talk about something else. And now for something even worse.
Even worse. Oh, God. Scotty, take us away.
At least yours has the saving grace of a match so bad it's laughably good. My storyline has everything. Remember how I was like, the Jeff Hardy Elias
yours
match
is still going, right?
No. No, it's not, but it kind of. The effects are still there, and I hate it.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was only stopped by paternity leave.
Yeah, because much like the Elias Jeff Hardy match had everything you'd want out of a terrible wrestling match, this has everything. This has a paternity test. This has a 19-year-old dating a 33-year-old Australian man. This has the Mysterio family coming together. This has Dominic Mysterio debuting. This has Rey Mysterio getting his fucking eye ripped out of his head. It's just the Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins storyline went forever. Keep in mind, it started after Rey got yeeted off the top of a building by Baron Corbin, so Rey already was having a bad beginning to 2020. And then they were like, hey, what's your next thing? Oh, I'm gonna have my eye shoved out of my skull by Seth Rollins. Oh, that must be the blow-off, right? Nah. We're gonna keep this going a lot longer than that.
It's like chapter 2 of a 15-chapter book.
Yes.
Technically, the feud is over, but the ramifications are still happening because the Buddy Murphy, like, fucking Mysterio, coalition is still going.
Yeah, they were like, hey, what's this need? How about some Romeo and Juliet shit with a Mysterio child falling in love with a disciple of Seth Rollins? Well, he just has the one, and it's a 33-year-old adult-ass man. Nah, still do it. Do it and make him kiss on television. And then finally they handed this shit show over to SmackDown, where I said, maybe they'll fix it. And they made it worse. They made it worse then.
I've got a bad idea, and I know how to make it shittier.
Fuck me. God damn it. It was so... I can't believe that, especially for as long as it went and kind of still is going, because it just smacked of, we have nothing for you, so we're going to give you this shitty, terrible feud that's gonna just ruin Seth again.
Yeah, because Seth was starting to come back. He had that great match with Kevin Owens at Mania, and we were like, okay, good, Seth's back on his bullshit. What are they gonna do to him now? Ah, fuck. Oh no, they're gonna do this to him. Oh no, Seth, turn, run away. Also, well, no, this was before that. This is also the storyline that was his first real storyline after losing it wasn't This Fire Burns. What the fuck was this name of his old theme song? Burn It Down. Yeah. So instead we then just got Christian. That's bullshit.
Sorry.
It's Seth.
It's Seth. All right, now let's talk about some
Whenever
positive
he eventually returns, that's how we need to announce it.
It's Seth.
It's Seth.
It's Seth.
He's number 30 in the Rumble. Oh my god, it's
Becky. It's Becky Lynch's husband.
It's Rue's dad. Rue's here. All right, on to more positive things. Let's talk about our match of the year, which last year, I still stand by this. We chose Cody versus Dustin. Fuck yeah.
Who's this ruled. We, motherfucker?
We all did.
No.
Actually, no, yeah, what was yours last year that you were so furious didn't make it to number 1?
Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi, which won Wrestling Observer's Match of the Year?
Well, my match of the year is number 3rd, and I understand why you guys didn't vote this high, because this is the number 3rd. This is the only wrestling match on our top 3 that features less than 5 wrestling moves. I believe there's only like 2
and
wrestling
one
moves.
Murder of a stuffed pig. So
but no, it's
hard to call it a match.
It's a match that I was so tired that night, and I was so stoned that after Edge Orton, I was like, I'm checked out. Fuck it. But then the next week I said, I gotta watch that match again. And then like a month later, I gotta watch that fucking match again. And then I just started finding excuses to go onto podcasts to talk about this match. We have an episode of Fun Fiction coming out in a few weeks where we just talk about this fucking match. And it is the Firefly Funhouse match, a postmodern masterpiece of professional wrestling that does nothing but take the golden boy of WWE, John Cena, and break him down emotionally bit by bit until he finally has to succumb to the fact that he's been a terrible person in this company.
Life.
It did give us the gif of NWO John Cena, which...
Yes! But even that, like, I forced my co-host on Fun Fiction, Megan, to watch the match, and they loved it, but the whole time they kept messaging me like, why are they this? Why is John Cena suddenly on a 1980s wrestling show? Oh, well, you see, in the 1980s, it's because they enjoyed large men wrestling, and Vince McMahon still subscribes to that, and so John Cena is the perfect golden boy for that. And then, why is he in the NWO? Oh, well, you see, a John Cena heel turn is what many people, like, everything, it's so absurdist, but it also all makes sense, and it's so
meta.
Buck
like
wild.
You can't like how meta it is. You just can't, like, that leads to so much of its charm too. That like that is something that it's giving you what you want, but in this monkey's paw scenario of this buck wild funhouse match.
Yeah, and then like my favorite comment from Meg was after the match where they just went, "Okay, when's the match?" What do you mean? When's the match? I watched the opening thing. No. That was it. That was it. And then that's when they said, this was the greatest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, that was like, phenomenal.
No, it's all of that, and then they don't even actually wrestle.
Yeah. It was so good. It did the best thing for The Fiend, which was keep him waiting in the wings while Bray just psychologically tortured John Cena. You got genuine emotional promos from Bray Wyatt in the middle of it. You had John Cena commenting on the fact that he would never change who he was as a character, even though the storyline needed him to. Like, it was just, so fucking good. I can rant about it all day, but I'm not going to. I'm still gonna turn things over to the Dylan.
Hi, the Dylan here, bringing you your yearly submission for... Oh, yeah, it's a New Japan match.
Yeah!
Okay, so, here's why you guys are wrong again.
All right.
Like you were last year. The thing is that I agree that the number one match is good. However, Naito versus Okada, literally, look at me in the eyes right now, literally had 5 years of build-up that paid off in that match. 5 years.
What makes me so mad is I know for a fact Meltzer's definitely going to make this match of the year, and Dylan's just going to have a repeat of last year's frustration all over again.
Like, I don't blame him either.
I actually will probably freely admit that it was not the best actual match. I didn't get to see the tag match for Revolution. That was probably it. But in terms of storytelling, in terms of payoff, in terms of a moment, nothing will be better than this. When Naito actually hit the Stardust Press, which is the reason why he lost the last Wrestle Kingdom match against Okada, that was perfect. It's beautiful. When he actually won, the storyline that he had abandoned the IC championship, had literally spent years beating a year beating the shit out of that belt and not wanting it. And that was how he got into this. He had already lost the belt to Jay White because he'd grown disillusioned, but then he got it back. Basically, the belt he hated was his ticket into the main event of the second night of Wrestle Kingdom. Yeah. So he had to embrace the belt he hated in order to get to the match where he had to finally, become okay with who he was in order to win the double championship.
So wait, you
Like,
say
it was
said 5 years? 5 years of build up? How about 18 years of build up of John Cena's career in the Firefly Funhouse match? All of it broken down. 5 years of build up since WrestleMania 30. Let's go.
Yeah. That's not really a build-up. That's more like 5 years of dissection. It wasn't building towards a Firefly Funhouse match. Like, nobody was like, and then it'll finally pay off when he fights this guy in a non-wrestling match in an empty building. Everybody was like, oh shit, this 5-year storyline is finally going to cap off at a 2-night Wrestle Kingdom event in front of a combined 100,000 people.
Now, yours was pre-COVID. I'm sure they would have had millions of people watching this one match on a TV screen. All right, Blake, I think me and Dylan have both realized, like, I think both of our matches are better than Blake's, but somehow it ended up at number 1 just because of math.
You want to know why? Because, well, first of all, we all picked the match that we picked for number 1. Like each of the matches that we
both of us both picked his match as number 2. So by the power of the rule of 3, he won.
That is actually gentlemen, that is ranked choice voting in action. Suck it.
Dylan's hatred of my match and my non-knowledge of his match.
I ranted at you about it for a week.
For the best. And that is the parking lot brawl between the best friends and Ortiz and Santana.
Weird question.
I fucking
just to interrupt you. Why didn't you pick the Bucks versus Hangman and Kenny? You actually watched it.
I honestly, for as much as I enjoyed the the emotional implications, it was a great match, but it was not my favorite match
because of the implication.
No, there's just a lot. Whereas, like, this match, I don't know what it was, but this is a style of match that, if it's done right, is my favorite kind of wrestling match. And that is the parking lot brawl, because it was a street fight. You get to go, they went to a lot of various locations. Basically, I love it for similar reasons to why Scottye loves cinematic wrestling. And also because Trent's mom's car got hit. And Trent's mom got into it. You can't leave Sue hanging. This is also a very rare instance where Meltzer looked at it and he's like, fuck, man, that's a 5-star match. I don't care where the fuck it took place. Especially because you got such a wide variety of crazy-ass spots. You got a lot of impressive athleticism from the best friends and Ortiz and Santana. And you got the memeable bullshit that I love, which is such a far, right turn from my last match of the year. So, I don't know, I guess this just goes to show that there are a lot of great matches, and there are matches that surprise you with how much you like them. This one surprised me with how much I liked it, and the fact that I loved it.
Let's run through some of those ridiculous spots. They include Ortiz being trapped under a car hood as both Trent and Chuck do swanton dives off the hood of that car onto the not the trunk, the fucking the front of it. This includes Trent being suplexed onto the roof of a truck by Ortiz, and then Santana jumping off another vehicle to splash him onto the roof of a truck.
It included
Orange Cassidy gets let out of the trunk of a car
hold on. No.
to then jump up.
Chuck pulls the key fob out of his pocket and opens the trunk, meaning a key fob had part president in this match.
And then the finish of the match, where I believe Chuck pile drove Santana on one car, and then Trent fucking dude busted Ortiz through a table that had been set up on the back of a truck for the win. And then they got driven out by Trent's mom in her minivan.
Hey, Sue, she has a name.
Also, just because of the fact, Sue, thank you. And this is where we get the point of pride to say that the guy that we harassed for almost a year has a 5-star match now.
Yeah. All right. Well, now on to our second biggest category of the year, our baby face of the year. One of the people who brought us the most joy this year. And for me, well, hold on. Last year, our baby face of the year was AEW, because fucking obviously. And this year, my baby face of the year is a guy who's done something that I honestly think I have not seen in my tenure as a fan of professional wrestling, which is he's a guy who can somehow both be what management wants and what every fucking fan in attendance wants. And it's Drew McIntyre. Because holy shit, we already talked about him as like most improved, but he is such a good babyface to a point where he has to deal with shitty Raw promos. And the whole time, like, I'm hearing the words and I'm going, this promo is fucking terrible. But because it's Drew, I don't care. And he's not just a Brock Lesnar run through everybody type. He can sell with the best of them. But then also, if he just needs to Scottish rage up and kick a motherfucker's head off, he can. Also, he's got a sword now. He got a fucking sword from Sheamus in a chest in the back like this was Skyrim. And he's like, I'm just going to bring this with me out to every match now and shove it in the stage. But yeah, Drew Mac, my baby face of the year, because he is easily probably one of the best baby faces in the business. Best babyface champion in my lifetime, I think.
I like when you can tell how much you cared about your picks by the level of promo you give them.
Really tell. I'm next. My baby face of the year is Kota Ibushi, because never has a wrestler exuded an aura of like just purity,
yeah,
and like wonderfulness as Kota Ibushi. There's no wrestler there's nobody else, I think, who you could just hold up just a picture of them, like standing in the ring, and just be like, is this a good guy or a bad guy? And no one would get Kota Ibushi wrong.
Yeah.
There's not a single person that would point at Kota Ibushi and not be like, that's the good guy. That guy right there, no chance in hell. No chance.
Yeah.
He's also a great babyface because he has a secondary mode of Murder Ibushi, which is by far one of the greatest things in wrestling. Which is I was nice and now I'm just snapped. I'm gonna slap the shit out of you. I'm gonna slap the taste out of your mouth.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
And the best part about that is everyone fears Murder Ibushi. Everyone. Okada, Jay especially. Like, you just see the look in their face where they're like, now I fucked up. There's just something so great about Ibushi. The crowds all like love him. You get so much heel heat if you fuck with Ibushi. Like, there's just something so great that I consider him a great babyface because it translates across like boundaries. Ibushi cannot give an English promo. Not possible. But Kota Ibushi could show up in AEW tomorrow,
yep,
and just act like Kota Ibushi, and within 2 weeks he'd probably be one of their top guys. Like, just naturally. Yeah, you would just understand. And like, I can't emphasize enough how rare and like important to the industry that is.
Yeah, the unsnappable neck of Kota Ibushi.
He tries so hard. Him and Naito are in this competition. Naito's winning because Naito's having to slow down because his body's breaking down. In fact, probably likely due to the Kota Ibushi matches.
Yeah.
Night 1 of Wrestle Kingdom is going to be crazy. I can't watch live this year because I have to do work, which means I have to go an entire day without hearing anything about the wrestling industry.
Just completely, oh god, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, can't check Twitter, can't check Reddit, nothing. For 3 straight days, because I'm not doing it for New Year's Dash either. It does mean that if either one of you ruins anything, I will drive to Alabama and beat you to death with a wiffle ball bat.
I will refrain.
It sucks because I know I'm going to watch it and I may forget that Dylan will be watching live with me. And I'll just be like, holy shit!
Oh no. I want you to know, I will at you as I go to bed, and it will say, Scottye, if you value your life, you will not.
Do not.
Meanwhile, I'll take this moment to pick not just my, but all of our babyface of the year. This is one of the 3 times I think that we were unanimous on a pick. And that is, Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah, baby.
Man.
Cowboy shit.
I don't know what to add on to what we've already said about how genuinely emotional Hangman's story has made each and every one of us over the last year. How we have shared his triumphs. How we have felt for him in his defeats. How we wanted to be there for him. How we've just genuinely said, we will be happy if Hangman is happy in this story. We don't want you to be depressed. Like, we care about this character so much that every time something bad happens for him, I think we all want to step up to bat. We felt like that roller coaster of emotions in all of his stories, and we know that he's going great places, and we want to be there with him. And now we're all just happy that he's got friends in the Dark Order. I can't
genuinely think their lucky crowds don't exist right now, because I think right now if they did a story where Hangman Page got beat up, the crowd would riot. The crowd would actively jump the barricades to come save Hangman Page.
You remember when the audience would just feed Hangman free liquor?
Yep. Imagine that, but with fists.
Hold on. I'm trying to remember the last time I saw it in earnest. Did it? Yep. Hold on. Oh, I just heard some glass shatter. Did you hear that? That's fucking Hangman. He's just so pure.
Yeah.
There's something just like really pure about his character, and like that's why
it's not even purity, it's sincerity.
Yeah.
Like Ibushi is like a purity, but there's a sincerity, there's an earnestness to everything that Adam Page does with his character, and like you feel it.
Hangman's just
it did a very deep
Hangman is just baby. He's just like our little wrestle baby that we don't. He's kind of like a Pikachu. He's just adorable, and then we're like, okay, go fight, go fuck him up, Pikachu. He's an alcoholic Pikachu.
Yeah, and the episodes where he loses are the really sad ones.
Yeah.
Where Ash goes to cry. Or like fucking imagine Hangman in the first Pokemon movie crying over a Kenny Omega turned to stone earlier this year.
No. I was picturing 2 Hangman Pages slapping each other and crying.
I love Hangman Adam Page.
All right, boys, we've given out just about every award we can, with one exception, the Wrestler of the Year. And I think this is the only nomination we had from last year that didn't age well, and it's Will Ospreay. Oh, wait, no. Ospreay got cleared, right? Ospreay's okay now?
Yeah, he's good.
Okay.
I mean, he still did terrible shit in the past, but he owned up to it more. So like he's getting there. He still but he turned heel. He really leaned into his punchable face.
Yeah. And
like just how much of a dickhead he comes across as. So on it went fine.
Okay.
We're good.
All right, Dylan.
He's going to have a great match with Okada in like a week.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You get that. You get the Great Okan versus fucking Tanahashi, Jeff Cobb versus Shingo. That whole stable is just set.
Yeah, it's terrifying. All right, Dylan, because you chose New Japan, that automatically put you at 3rd, because Blake and I are idiots. What did you get?
I was gonna say, so you know that company that does almost exclusively wrestling? Their person is gonna be 3rd in wrestling. I went with consistency. I didn't go with the flashiest person that had the best matches. I thought about it, and I thought about consistency and quality. And so I chose Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull.
Yes.
Because largely this is motivated by his G1 this year, because somebody did an averaging of all like the Meltzer star ratings and like all the other like ratings for matches, and Ishii was like well above 4 stars for the tourney. Like almost every one of his matches, with the exception of I think he had one against Yujiro that was below 4. But that was, even that, I believe that was the highest match that Yujiro had was against Ishii. Like, if you need somebody to have a good match, like, he's in his 40s now. He's never going to be world champion, but he knows. He is the best. He's won best, like, the Bruiser Brody, like, Brawler Award several times. He knows his style. He knows how to, like, do his match in the best way possible. Like, if you see him having a singles match on the card, you're like, yeah, I can watch that. That match will be, at the very least, like, good, has a better than anybody average of being great.
Yep.
Like in a year where a lot of people had to like play down their wrestling because of storylines or because of COVID. Like storylines because of Okada. Like COVID kind of took other people out of where they would have had a chance. He's just there. Like a stone, the Stone Pitbull.
Like a Stone Pitbull, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, my wrestler of the year, you guys may have heard of him. He's Hangman Adam Page. Which, honestly...
How many categories did we nominate Page for again?
He got nominated in 3, and I'll be honest, snubbed from another one because that tag team match should have been on there. It wasn't better than the Funhouse.
I didn't get to watch it.
Okay, well, he got snubbed, in my opinion. And I know that's partially my fault, because I said a match where there were only 2 wrestling moves was better. But, like I said earlier, every time he comes into the ring, it's just, what good shit's about to happen. Even when he has an opening match on the card that's literally just there for Hangman to wrestle, he still fucking kills it every single time. Like during the breakup with Kenny, when he would come out and wrestle every week and put on these classics while Kenny was on commentary, it was just this ultimate show of like, oh yeah, he's better than you, Kenny, because he's out here wrestling and putting on good matches. Because obviously, like Okada, because of storyline, Kenny's not doing best bout machine shit right now. He's doing cleaner shit. But still, every time Hangman would come out, he'd just look and say, all right, let's fuck shit up for a few. Like, oh, I'm wrestling FTR? Let's fuck it up. Oh, I'm wrestling my best friends, the Young Bucks? Let's fuck it up. Oh, I'm going out with the Dark Order and we're all getting drinks and screaming, fuck Hangman? Let's fuck it up. Like, Hangman Page has been phenomenal this year, and there's never been a Hangman match where I said, I could miss this. No doubt. Nothing.
Bet.
Here we go. So, I've already said everything I wanted to say about Hangman because he is, as I said, wonderful. But
hold on, Blake. When you announce this man as Wrestler of the Year, you have to say it right. You have to say it with respect on the name.
And that's the problem I have, because I'm gonna have a difficulty emulating his voice, but I'm gonna do it. The Fight Boys 2020 Wrestler of the Year is John Moxley! Fucking, because there is only one man that took the AEW World Heavyweight title in 2020, put it over his shoulders, and put AEW over his shoulders during a terrible, shitty pandemic, and kept the same intensity. Nothing changed for him during 2020, pre or post pandemic. He was bringing that same intensity. He was bringing that same level to his each and every match, especially when it came to the AEW title. He had the company, on his shoulders for their transition into not having a crowd, which across the board really, really sucked and really burnt a lot of people because we had to be safe. And we needed to be. But we were so worried that this could be a death knell for especially AEW, who'd only been going for a few months at that point. But they took it in such stride, and that is partially because Jon Moxley was such a good, solid champion. He had a lot of great feuds. We've already mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
He had a lot put on his plate, and he delivered each and every single time.
And I'll say the best thing about Moxley is babyface champions. This has been the year for good babyface champions because you had Moxley and you had Drew. And Drew didn't do this as much. But the problem with a babyface champion is there's usually not a lot of growth in that character because it's like they're the top of the mountain. They don't have to grow anymore. That's just who the fuck they are. And that's kind of how Jericho was too. He was just kind of like the final boss. That's who he was. But for Moxley, he added to his repertoire, added the bulldog choke, added a lot more of a technical style. But what I liked more was near the end, the fact that he as a character started to realize what it meant to be a champion. That's all his promos were about, was saying like, I used to think all this meant was I'm the best, but now I'm realizing it means that this company is on my back. It's making me realize all of these things. Like you saw Moxley grow from a person who just thought, oh, I'm the best because I have this belt. I'm a badass who likes to fight, to a guy who said, no, this title means something. This title means responsibility. Like this title means things beyond just that you're the best. And that was so fun to see. And it made his title reign feel more important because you saw him grow.
Yes, I agree with that 100% because that also shows that he's still growing. He has not reached a point of stagnation, which makes me happy because I feel like anytime you reach stagnation in wrestling, that's when your character changes. And I'm not finished seeing Jon Moxley yet. As a matter of fact, now that he's had a great title reign, in my opinion, I
don't feel
I want to see what he does
argue.
without the title for a while.
It's the viciousness is what made his title reign. How he overcame his obstacles largely by beating people at their own game.
Yeah, with the power of
so
punching.
Like with Brodie, with Brodie or with Chris Jericho, it was by out psychological warfaring him. Like he took the car, he like fucked with Chris, like in a way that the inner circle would normally fuck with people. Yeah, the eye patch. Yeah, he got Chris. For Brodie, he just out sold him. For Cage, he like worked on an arm. He worked on Taz's fear about losing an asset and got that. For MJF, he outfoxed him. Waited until MJF used a move and fucked up and was just like, opportunity. He became opportunistic in that match. And then in the Eddie match, he out like fucking
brutalized him.
Out brutalized the man that like just didn't want to die. It was,
and I guess that's actually
so
one of the
great.
reasons why the Kenny match worked so well is Kenny won by out Moxleying Moxley. Like Kenny won by being that kind of vicious beat down a guy with a fucking microphone in the center of the ring thing. Like it was really, because Moxley was trying to do what he was doing. He was trying to be technical. He was trying to outdo Kenny at Kenny's own game, and it resulted in the tables being flipped on him. So yeah, I like that a lot.
And also, one thing we didn't mention is his brief feud with Darby Allin earlier this year. When he like one of the best feuds I think he's had, even though it was so short, because that final match when he said, I don't want to hurt you, but I will. And it was a different way than Roman Reigns is portraying himself. It was like, I really and truly care about you, but this is for your own good, not because I need to win.
That one was interesting because it wasn't him trying to out Darby. It was him looking at him and saying, I don't want to break your fucking neck with a paradigm shift, so I'm going to do everything else I can until finally Darby came back at him and he said, if you're going to keep standing up, I'm going to have to break your neck. Fine, paradigm shift.
He even said in the promo before that, there will come a time where you, like, want to stay down. Stay down. I know you won't. Because I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that whole match like revolved around. It was so good. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. 100%. Jon Moxley.
Now, do we have any honorable mention type awards about shit that it's just like we want to talk about? I'm trying to think, but the only one coming to mind is the fact that holy fuck, how did none of us bring up that tag match?
Like I said, I didn't get to see it. I only got to see parts of it. And I wasn't going to pay all that money for a pay-per-view for one match.
Oh, so good.
That is a fair point. I don't think I've got any off the top of my head. I'm sure if I thought about it, but we've already been here for an hour and a half.
I'm going to give a quick...
heel of the year is concussions.
Yeah. Quick worst match of the year. Worst match of the year, Elias. Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
All right.
Fuck, that was a terrible match.
Everyone at home, we're going to be taking a break next week so we can enjoy holidays and whatnot, but we will see you fresh-faced and new when this godforsaken year is over. So we will see you in 2021. Until then, where can people find you on the internet?
I'm going to have a rant about 3 days of Japanese wrestling. So you have 2 weeks to prepare yourself, Scottye.
He's going to have that in the chamber, so that's just going to be...
We could just... that could be Dylan doing a whole review. Just record it, send it to me. We'll just release a whole episode of Dylan talking about New Japan as a review.
Who knows what might happen in these next couple of weeks as the year ends. And undoubtedly 2020 saves its worst for last. You can find me at Blake A. You can find me at Blake A. Tanner on the Twitter. You can find me at the Darkroom Vidya on YouTube, and you can find me here on the BS Network doing BS Network things, although not next week.
2020's biggest secret is a secret 13th month named Blebuary that is going to release upon us. And you can find me on Twitter at Scottye Moore, SCOTTYEMO, and check out all my other podcasts at aloadofpurebs.com, including A Load of BS, which is surprisingly not disappearing because me and Blake batch recorded because it's December, and me and Blake made the dumbest campaign ever where the boss baby fights Krampus.
I'm going to leave now.
It's very late. Have a good night, Dylan. Oh, special thanks to Megaran for our theme song, Fighters. Check out Megaran. Support Megaran. He is a friend of the show, and he has been very kind to us over the last few years. Great guy to hang out with. Great music. Give him a listen. Check him out and support him. Because if anybody needs, we need to stick together in 2020. And let's stick together with all of our fellow content creators that are more successful than us.
As always, you can find us at aloadofpurebs.com. Step up to the merch table at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. Find us on Facebook, donate to the Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, and remember to follow us on Twitter at Fight Boy Show Jon Moxley. Because when you're a fight boy for life.